Okay, hi, Assalamualaikum to Miss Nabila and all the viewers of my YouTube, of my video. I will talk or discuss about domestic violence that leads to child abuse, a community concern. So first of all, we will start about the domestic violence definition first. Domestic violence can extend to child abuse. Although domestic violence is not a physical but domestic violence that happens in front of the child, children eyes automatically abuse them mentally. So, the definition of domestic violence is as an act or attempt by a person to dominate their partner in the face of marriage or in an intimate relationship. It is also a pattern or act of forcing, threatening, insulting, and committing sexual violence against a partner. Meanwhile, child abuse is an act of physical, sexual, and psychological neglect or maltreatment of a child by a parent or their guardian or caregiver. But now we'll focus on a family, which is parents. So, among the factors in the occurrence of domestic violence first, or domestic crimes and child abuse are physical strength factors, stigma, emotional disorders, and the lack of religious knowledge. Okay, while the cause of child abuse for specifically is because of the abusive words of the parents, it is really can harm the children mental illness actually, because whatever we said, whatever the parents said, they will remember that until they being adult. Okay, so which has a great impact on the psychology. As I said just now, abusive words and negative behavior can affect children. Financial and economic factors of the family also can cause domestic violence and child abuse. Because of what? Because when when we are living in poor, so that the children and our partner maybe will be harmed, because we will hit them because we feel poor, and we are so stressed about the finance, about the financial, about the economy of the family. Child abuse is a crime. So the crime is a common crime in Malaysia, not only in Malaysia but in the world also, and even the world records too many cases of child abuse every year, and it often shows an increasing rather than a decreasing one. In Malaysia, for this year, which is 2022, from January to June, we the total of child abuse cases for about these 6 months is 1,055 cases of child abuse were reported throughout the Malaysian, which is all the 14 states in Malaysia. And although recording a large number of the cases of abuse each year, it cannot be considered that it is an absolute number because on the report received. Because maybe the real number is more or bigger than the records on the report. But the reluctance of the victim families, or the local community, especially neighbors, means that not many cases of abuse can be sniffed out by the authorities, because they refuse to report, might because of the of afraid the threatened, they might be afraid being threatened by the abuser. But don't worry, um, until now there is no cases about the one who report abuse being threatened by the abuser. So, but why I'm focused about the neighbors? Because neighbors are the closest people to the family in the resident or the in the neighborhood area. One action of a neighbor can save the victim of abuse, which is a domestic violence victim or child abuse victim. Therefore, with campaign to combat domestic violence and child abuse, will give awareness to neighbors that their existence is important to the victims. Because this meaning, the protecting, which is the neighbors can protect them. So, the meaning of the protecting victim of abuse here is to try to report the incident immediately to the police without fear. As I said just now, there is no cases that the one who report the abuse cases never be threatened by the abuser or perpetrators. So additionally, with community awareness, with neighbor awareness, this can reassure victims that they are not alone and that their safety and that of their neighbors will be assured. If the victim is the child, maybe the neighbors can be aware of their physical condition or their behavior that may change suddenly, or their act to their friends, or maybe right. So if you sense something that abnormal, you as a neighbor can report the to the police about the child might be facing abuse. So please remind your own self that there has never been a case of complainant was attacked by the perpetrators for reporting a crime of abuse to the police. So don't be afraid. Okay? So that's all from me. Then I hope that you understand what I'm talking about. I hope you understand what I'm spread about, which is we have to report abuse crime because we can save abuse